Hey there, Clarinet YouTube fans. We've got another episode of Ridenour Clarinet Products Clarivideos. This is Clarivid number 70, and it's been a while since we've done this, but we're going to do a Q&A this time because we've gotten a lot of great questions from some of our viewers. This first question comes from a viewer perplexed in Providence. I'm assuming that's Providence, Rhode Island, and not the supernal shores. Anyway, he says, "Dear Tom, my clarinet teacher recently told me it was okay to watch your videos. But because you're getting old, everything you say is going to be wrong." Why would he say that? Well, dear perplexed, he says this because he is young, and everything he says is going to be stupid. And by the way, ask him the next lesson if he knows what a non sequitur is. I'll bet that he doesn't, which is a common affliction among callow youth. This next query comes from an astute viewer in Tucson, Arizona. He wouldn't leave his name. He said that his dad had been watching some of my videos, and his only comment was, 10,000 comedians out of work, and this guy's trying to be funny. Why would he say that? Well, I don't know why he would say that exactly, but I can tell you why. The reason I'm doing that is because 10,001 clarinet players are out of work, and I thought maybe my odds are better. And now, a Ridenour Clarinet Products public service message. Dear friends, do you recognize this look in an animal's eyes? If you do, please also remember to spay or neuter such animals, lest you be guilty of the spread of daisy dog syndrome, also known as BDD syndrome. Strengthen our cause by joining the Society to Prevent the Unchecked Presence or Increase of Daisy Dog Syndrome. Do it today. Do it now. Because you can't fix stupid. And remember, somewhere a daisy dog needs you now. We also have a question from David, who's an 11th grader in Laredo, Texas, right down south of us. He says, "I've been in an ongoing struggle for 6 months with my airy sound on the clarinet." I don't know, I guess like Jacob wrestling with the angel, I don't know. He says, "I don't know if it's my mouthpiece, which is a Van Doren 5RV, or if it's the reeds I used. I've tried all calibers of Van Doren reeds, and nothing seems to get rid of my airy sound. I also tried changing my embouchure, but still nothing happens. I am positive that it is not my equipment because it's brand new." Well, first of all, David, thank you for your questions. They're kind of extensive questions, but I do have a few suggestions. Basically, airiness in the sound can be caused from all kinds of different sources. First of all, I would really check your mouthpiece and make sure that there are no chips or burrs. That happens often if you accidentally hit your mouthpiece with a mouthpiece cap in the tip, and the tip will burr up. That will cause sometimes a lot of breathiness in the sound and other problems. If you just have a general airiness problem, then I would really suggest that there's a mouthpiece reed embouchure kind of source of those problems. But if you have specific airiness problems, say on specific notes, then I would check for the pad height coverage on those particular notes. If the pad height is too close, you're going to get a lot of fuzzy, airy sounds on those particular notes. Badly balanced reeds can be a real problem because they always create breathiness in the sound, that quality in the sound. Like I said, a damaged mouthpiece facing where you have a lot of burrs on that. But also in terms of your embouchure, if you have too much lower lip over your lower teeth, that can create a dull, breathy sound. And it can also exaggerate any kind of breathiness that, say, might happen to be in the reed, caused by reed imbalance. It'll make it even worse. So all those things are sources of airiness. You know, there's really no substitute for getting a good, competent teacher. Good luck finding one. We have another interesting question from someone who says, he's a foreign speaker from Florence, Italy. He says, "Dear Tom, I am not an English native speaker. What does balance the reed exactly mean?" Well, you know, I'm kind of guilty because I always say teachers should never assume anything, and I've been using that term balancing the reed a lot without actually defining it. So exactly what does balance the reed mean? Well, first of all, let's take a look at what balance the reed doesn't really mean. Okay, that's not what a balanced reed is. Balance of the reed refers to the way that the left and right ears of the reed are going to be responding on the left and right rails of the mouthpiece. You notice the left and right ears are sort of like speakers, like stereo speakers. And if those speakers are out of phase, then that causes a lot of problems. Now, what we mean by the ears of the reed being out of phase is that each ear, you might say, produces very different kinds of results when it comes to response, resistance, energy transference. When in the reed balancing process, what you do is you physically adjust the reed. So on that particular mouthpiece, the particular mouthpiece you're playing, those ears have as identical a response and resistance and resonance decay and energy transference down those rails as possible. So you're trying to equalize that. And when they're equalized, then you say the reed's balanced. So think of it like a seesaw, and you have weights on either side. And when you get the weights just right, then the seesaw sets level. So that's what you're trying to do in balancing the reed. And if you'd like to learn how to do that and do it really easily, you might try my, that's right, another shameless plug, my ATG reed system. Now that's what balancing a reed is in English. And I'm assuming that balancing a reed is the same thing in Italian and probably every other language except, you know, maybe like French Canadian, where nobody can understand anything of what that is anyway, even the French Canadians. Our next question comes from Aim to Please in Akron. Dear Tom, thanks ahead of time for considering my question. I knew you would, since you're such a wonderful and generous person. My clarinet teacher has been telling me for some time I need not respond to his instructions with sycophantic comments. Last week I told him he need not thank me for that, and that he was a wonderful person for being kind enough to even notice. After that, he looked down at the floor, covered his eyes with his hands, and would not speak to me for the rest of the lesson. Do you know why? Finally, we hear from Sagacious Burrow in Tempe. He says, "Okay, Mr. Know-It-All, can you answer my question about clarinet? Huh? Can you answer it? I'll bet you can't answer my question about clarinet. Can you, Mr. Know-It-All? Can you?" Dear smartass, Sagacious Burrow. No, I really can't. Not unless you ask it. Can we get better questions here? Hey man, if this is the best we can do, we gotta have better questions than this. Well, try harder next time.